What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Marbury Lake. Let's fish that. Okay, so quite recently we spent a couple of hours out at Lake Mead attempting to catch some fish. It took 5 hours to catch this one little fish. At the end of this video I'll put a little clip to show you that if you want to see that. But other than that, we spent quite a lot of time out there and we struggled to catch some fish. That kind of shows me that whether we want it or not, our summertime fishing is over. We are heading into fall, so we have this weird transition phase where catching fish can be quite difficult. Fish like carp stop feeding, trying to give the babies some time to eat. Stuff like bluegill and green sunfish tend to go into the deeper water. They're not as shallow as they normally are. So you have all these changes going on, and we as fishermen also need to adapt to these changes, and that is why we're out here today at Floyd Lamb Park. So the change that I want to be making today is I want to kind of pack away my summertime fishing gear. Now yes, you can catch all sorts of fish all throughout the year. Carp, you can catch them any time of the year, but there are certain times of the year where it's easier to catch them, and summertime is especially easier for carp, catfish, as well as bluegill and stuff like that. But I still do have some carp baits left. That is why we're out here today. I'm going to use the carp baits to see if we can manage to find some carp in these ponds before I pack away my carp setup for the winter, before we head into striper fishing and fishing for trout. So we are again 2 licensed anglers out here. That means we're allowed 2 rods each. We have one out there with my carp setup. We have a second rod out there with just some baits to see what fish we can find around. And then on the other rods, we're going to use some spinners and baits to try and find some bass. I'm going to move around and see if we can find any bass in some of the key places in these ponds.
Yep. It's a fish. Look, Mommy. Yeah? Oh, cool.
Alright guys, we've been successful. Have our first little carp for today. Nice silver colors on this one. It's not as gold as the rest. Quickly going to get this guy back into the water. Did you guys want to see the little fish?
Yeah, go look. What are you using for bait?
Corn.
Corn?
Yeah.
Oh, huh. Never would have thought of that. Wow.
So this is still a baby one. They get a lot bigger than this one.
Wow.
But I have to get him back into the water now.
Yep.
Alright guys, quickly going to get a release on this little carp. The water is a bit shallow here, but I'll try and get him into the water. And off he goes. Okay guys, just had a fish, but it came loose. Gonna rebait and get it out there again. Alright guys, another carp. Also a small guy, but at least we're getting something, seeing as the big fish won't go for our baits.
This is silvery.
Also a very nice silver one with some red on the fins. The other one didn't have as much red, but still nice looking small carp.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, let's get him back into the water. And off he goes. Alright, so having caught a few of the small baby carp, I'm going to my bass setup at the moment, trying to find some bass. This is something that I'm still kind of learning how to do. It's using something like a Texas rig, but a weightless Texas rig, so it doesn't get stuck on all of the leaves and sticks on the bottom. Trying to find some bass in these ponds. Right, so I have caught bass on many different lures in the past. There are still a few of these type of lures, the soft plastics, that I have not caught any bass on yet. That is why I'm using time like this to test out these things and try to see what I'm supposed to do, how to get bass on them. And then on my second rod I have a little black and gold inline spinner. See maybe if there are bass in this area, if they're more than willing, perhaps they are willing to go for a moving target, something fast swimming rather than slow moving thing on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to be hitting a few different spots with these two lures, and then I'll head back, swap out for some different lures. Alright guys, another baby carp landed here today. Let's quickly get a release on this guy. And off he goes. Okay guys, had quite a good day out here today. Caught quite a few of the small carp. Saw some bigger carp in the shallows. I was trying with my small rod to get a little piece of corn in front of them, but they didn't want my baits. They kept swimming around it. Couldn't manage to get one of the big ones. Got a lot of small ones though. Didn't get any bass or anything like that, but still fun day out here catching all these small carp. And more importantly, I finally finished all my pack baits, so no more baits that can get spoiled, so I can finally pack away my carp setup for winter. And alongside catching some carp out there, also managed to catch a little rod and reel setup. So whoever donated this to the channel, thank you for leaving it in the pond. Don't worry, I did claim it. I did fish it out of the pond. Okay, so we still have some baits in the water, still getting some hits on that, but I don't think we're going to get any more of these small carps out here today. So I want to thank you guys for following us out here. Like I mentioned, I will show you the carp from Lake Mead after this outro. If this is the first video of mine you're seeing, please do hit the subscribe button, join my community. Once you hit that, it will become grey, say subscribe. You can hit the little bell notification next to that. If you select all, they will notify you of when I upload videos. I do so weekly, so do hit the bell also to get notified of that. Feel free to write any comments down below, asking any questions or giving me some hints. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.